Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading an Arlecchino Accessory by me. So let's get into it. The house of the horse was quieter than usual. The soft chatter of the children replaced by their laughter, echoing faintly from the garden. He had been with them all morning, teaching them a silly song while making flower crowns from whatever weeds they could pluck from the edges of the garden. It was chaotic but joyful, and now the children ran around wearing the creations like little kings and queens. Arlecchino leaned against the door frame, her arms crossed, watching the scene unfold. Her crimson eyes lingered on you, the way the children naturally gravitated towards your open arms, their faces lighting up when you smiled, and a pang of something unfamiliar struck her chest. Not jealousy, but an ache she couldn't quite name. She turned away before you could catch her staring, the heavy sound of her boots announcing her retreat. And you noticed immediately and excused yourself from the children to follow her. She was in her office by the time you found her, standing at the desk, with her back to the door. Arlie? Your voice was soft as you stepped inside, closing the door behind you. And she stiffened, for some reason, but did not turn around. You should be with the children, she said flatly, her voice devoid of its usual edge. They prefer you anyway. Her words make you pause, your brows soaring. What's that supposed to mean? And finally, she turned to face you, her expression unreadable, but her eyes betraying a flicker of vulnerability. They love you, she said simply, gesturing vaguely toward the garden. You're warm, gentle, everything they deserve, and everything I'm not. She trailed off, looking away as if the words themselves tasted better. And you crossed the room to stand in front of her, your hands reaching out to take hers. She allowed it, though her fingers were cold in your grasp. You're their protector. You've given them a home, safety, and a chance to dream. They love you, Arlecchino, even if they show it differently. She let out a quiet scoff, though there was no venom in it. I'm too cold, too harsh, and I do not know how to give them what you do. They run to you when they're hurt, when they're scared. Not to me. Because you know you'd move heaven and earth to keep them safe. And so do I. He countered, and her eyes softened slightly at your words. However, her doubt lingered. Sometimes, I wonder if they would be better off with just you. If my methods, my nature, will only hurt them in the end. You frowned, your heart aching at the uncharacteristic vulnerability she was showing. Don't say that. You're the reason they have a chance at happiness in the first place. They adore you, Arlecchino. Maybe they're more afraid of you than they're afraid of me. But they love you. And I do too. And for a moment, she said nothing, her gaze fixed on where your hands held hers. Then, with a sigh, she pulled you closer, wrapping her arms around you in a rare display of affection. You rested your head against her shoulder, feeling the tension in her body slowly ease. And you make things brighter. For them, for me. I've never been good at that. And you know what? You don't have to be. You're good at protecting them, at leading them forward. Let me be the one to bring the warmth. And together, we give them everything they need. The kind only you ever got to see. You always know what to say. she says, brushing a strand of hair from your face. Well, it's a gift. You tease lightly, earning a quiet chuckle from her, and the sound warmed your heart and eased the atmosphere. And you reached up to cup her face, your thumb brushing against her cheek. We're a team, Arlecchino now, you said softly, and the children need both of us. Don't forget that. She leaned into your touch, her eyes closing briefly. I won't, she promised, her voice steady again. Thank you for reminding me. And to be quite honest, for Arlecchino, this was not easy. Admitting her vulnerabilities and talking about them, confronting them in this manner, it was all very unusual for her, for the person that she was. And yet, she couldn't help but feel relieved that she was able to do this with you. She felt lucky that she had you, that you were there, able to comfort her, and able to make her feel better about her insecurities. And perhaps, before you got together, you would have never thought that she had any. But right now, as you stood by her side, you could only see her as a normal person. Someone that loved as much as she needed to be loved in return. And as the two of you stood there for a moment longer, wrapped in each other's warmth, outside, the children's laughter echoed, a reminder of the little lives that you were shaping together. And though the doubt and those thoughts would linger in the corners of her mind and would not just totally disappear in one day, she knew she was not alone in this. Not when she had you by her side. Not when you loved her so much and made it so obvious and clear. Perhaps there were some things she couldn't change about herself. But, at the very least, she knew there was someone out there who loved her just as she was.